Welcome to Day 1 of Home to You with Laerdal from IMSH 2023 in Orlando, Florida. Here's your host, Lindsay Kowalski.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to Home to You with Laerdal. Well, the sun is shining here in Orlando, Florida, and I'm very excited to be here at the annual IMSH conference where we will be bringing you the very latest from the exhibition floor. If you couldn't be here in person, then this is the show for you. I'm Lindsay Kowalski, and I'll be your host as we take you on a virtual roundup of IMSH. Each episode of Home to You will include conversations with key opinion leaders, product showcases, and conference attendee interviews. In today's episode, I'm very excited to share with you an interview I had earlier with Jared Cutson. We will also take a look at our SIM Capture solution, as well as our Laerdal Accelerate experience here at IMSH. You will hear from our Chief Learning Officer about the launch of our new podcast. We will also be talking to conference attendees to find out what's caught their attention today. Stay tuned. The theme of our Laerdal booth at this year's IMSH conference is Elevate Your Impact. One of the ways that organizations elevate impact is by being much more targeted in using data insights to improve their simulation-based competency programs. Joining me now is Jared Cutson, who will be sharing both the challenges he's facing and how insights from data are helping to overcome them. Jared, thank you for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit about the challenges you face in driving competency improvement through simulation?
Sure. So competency improvement in my mind really spans a spectrum of individuals, from your pre-licensure learners to your post-licensure, licensed practitioners. And so some of the challenges that we're faced with is really getting enough data in a sequential enough format to ensure that we know where people are at in the life cycle of their learning. And I think that's where simulation actually gets to shine, is in that process of being able to standardize, reproduce, and get everybody on the same page in terms of competency-based assessment.
How do you ensure, especially in the hospital system, that everyone has access to simulation training?
That's a real challenge. So I work in a really large hospital system, upwards of 20,000 employees. And so making sure that we have a centralized hub of simulation activities that we can then disseminate broadly across the organization is really important. So finding solutions where we can bring individuals and teams to us for training, but also ensuring that we can do just-in-time or in-situ simulations for individuals on their units is just as important.
How are you currently using data in your simulation programs?
So we're using data in a bunch of different ways. I think the way that we're predominantly using data is through looking at the ability to link that data to patient care outcomes. While we are hoping to collect data on our individual learners and collecting data at the Kirkpatrick level 1 level, whether or not they liked our programs, and even the level 2 level, whether or not they think it could be useful in their practice, figuring out what exactly they need is where we're struggling. But linking that data to the actual clinical care outcomes is where we're moving towards. For me, it's about three things: building, collaborating, and innovating. And so it's about building new programs, building new content, building relationships, collaborating with not only people within our industry, but outside of our industry. Just the other day, I was talking to somebody at a conference just down the hall from us. It's a food vendors conference, and they're using robots to go up and down the aisles of a supermarket to scan the products, to backfill a database to say this is what needs to be stocked. I said, how do I use that in my sim center? How do I use that in the hospital setting? How do we use that technology to help improve our functions?
SIM Capture is a simulation management solution that offers your simulation program the resources that elevate your impact. Every simulation center has its own unique workflows, goals, and needs, and SIM Capture has a variety of features that can be tailored to support your program. As a management platform, SIM Capture can help you run your simulation program efficiently. Our web-based system allows you to control recording from anywhere you have access to the internet. The system also includes debriefing tools for reviewing sessions, calendar options for reserving spaces, and reporting that shares data on the utilization of your center and its resources. SIM Capture is also a platform where you can develop and improve your curriculum. In SIM Capture, depending on the tier you select, you can build courses and scenarios to meet your learning objectives for your program, as well as develop evaluations that can give you feedback on your learners' performances. Then to elevate your impact further, reporting is available at the course, evaluation, and individual learner level to highlight successes and review opportunities to improve the learner experience, enhance faculty development, and give insight on performance trending and progress.
Joining me now is Laerdal's Chief Learning Officer, Michael Sauter. In his role, Michael is uniquely positioned to make sure education has a direct and measurable life-saving impact. And as host of our new 1 Million Lives podcast, he takes listeners on a journey to explore the constructs of healthcare education and helping save lives with some incredible guests. Michael, thank you for joining us today, and a big congratulations on the launch of the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That has been a journey.
Can you tell me a bit about the podcast and the intent behind it?
Sure. I mean, our strategy is called 1 Million Lives, and it's all about helping save 1 million more lives every year by 2030. It was natural for us, if we want to do a podcast, not to focus on Laerdal, but focus on the heroes out there. So hence, we chose not Helping Save Lives podcast, but 1 Million Lives. It's truly about the heroes out there.
That's fantastic. And you've quite a lineup of guests.
Yes.
How have you chosen the topics to cover in the podcast, and what can we look forward to hearing about?
Right. Well, so we are in this very fortunate position, Lindsay, where wherever door we knock on, people are very accommodating. So we get to choose from top of the line all over the world. So we have the Ronald Hardens, the Victoria Brassel. I mean, she's a rock star in this environment. So I think the lineup now has been really, really good. And the next round, we will align even more with the strategy. So we have an impact update coming, and we really want to have episodes for topics in the impact update on those people out there who have achieved true impact, and speak to them.
It's very exciting and very important.
Yeah, I think so.
Where can people go to listen to the podcast?
Well, I mean, any of your favorite podcast channels, Spotify, Apple, whatever. But if you're looking for bonus material in addition, you should really come to our website, laerdal.com/podcast. And for some of the episodes, there will be bonus materials.
Great,
Yes.
Wow, that's really great, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. But one last question for you. What have you found most interesting here at IMSH so far?
Well, I had the great benefit and privilege of being at the Research Summit the prior 2 days. And I have to tell you, there is this willingness and ability, it seems, from the society to try to standardize and produce guidelines so that everyone who joins simulation can now have guidelines. So what they did was a lot of research assessment. Where does the research stand right now? And out of that, they want to make recommendations. Brilliant. And if you look behind us here, I mean, I was here last time 4 years ago, and the biggest change, I think, is back then it was all about the devices, the things, the stuff. Now it changed. It's about outcomes, which is truly, really cool. Yeah?
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for your
Sure.
time, and we look forward to hearing you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the Home to You Word on the Street, when we ask conference attendees about their experience here at IMSH 2023.
VR was the big thing last year at IMSH. It continues to be a big thing, but now they're adding more adjunct things that you can add to your VR with the mixed reality as well as the augmented reality. So I'm looking into things to expand our VR program.
A lot of people are starting to make that transition to virtual, so I'm interested in learning more about that as well.
I would say my favorite part is the exhibit hall. It's always interesting to see the innovation and technology that's developed since the last time I was here.
The immersive technology, a lot of the augmented and virtual reality is some of the most fun and just awesome stuff out there. So I think that it's all my favorite.
Thank you so much for joining us for our first episode of Home to You with Laerdal from IMSH 2023. What a fun, interesting, and inspiring day it's been. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for a roundup of Day 2. See you then.
Be sure to tune in at the same time tomorrow for the daily roundup of Day 2 at IMSH 2023 for Home to You with Laerdal.
If you enjoyed this program, then you'll probably also enjoy our 1 Million Lives podcast on laerdal.com/podcast or on your favorite podcast platform.